and welcome to Global Atheist News, dateline 20th of August 2022. This is our weekly report on how religion has impacted humanity over the last 7 days. This week's headlines. Salman Rushdie's attacker praises Iran's ayatollah. Police probe a threat to JK Rowling over her Salman Rushdie support. Afghanistan. A deadly blast rips through a crowded Kabul mosque. Taliban break up a rare protest by Afghan women in Kabul. Salma al-Shehab, concern for the Saudi student jailed for 34 years over tweets. Palestinian gunman wounds 8 in Jerusalem attack. In Egypt, dozens are killed in a Coptic church fire in Giza. The Department of Justice is to investigate the Southern Baptist sexual abuse situation. The WCA calls on conservative churches to withhold dues from the United Methodist Church. The Australian Anglican Church splits as conservatives form a breakaway diocese. The 75-year-old Indian-born writer, Sir Salman Rushdie, who has faced death threats for decades over the novel which some Muslims believe insulted the Prophet Muhammad, was attacked on stage last Friday as he was preparing to deliver a lecture on artistic freedom at the Chautauqua Institution. See this video.
Stretchers.
The New Jersey man who allegedly stabbed Sir Salman in western New York State praised Iran's Ayatollah Khomeini and admitted he didn't think the author would survive the attack. When I heard he'd survived, I was surprised, Hadi Matar of Fairview, New Jersey, said in a video interview from the Chautauqua County Jail. The 24-year-old was quiet on whether he was inspired by the late Iranian supreme leader, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, issuing a fatwa or edict calling for Rushdie's death in 1989 over the author's book, The Satanic Verses, citing a warning by his defense attorney. I respect the Ayatollah. I think he's a great person, but that's as far as I will say about that, Matar said, noting he'd only read like 2 pages of Rushdie's controversial novel. The accused stabber denied being in contact with Iran's Revolutionary Guard and alluded to acting completely alone. He said he was inspired to go to Chautauqua after seeing a tweet sometime in the winter announcing Rushdie's visit. I don't like the person. I don't think he's a very good person, he said about Rushdie. I don't like him. I don't like him very much. He's someone who attacked Islam. He attacked their beliefs, the belief systems. Iran has categorically denied any link with Salman Rushdie's attacker, instead blaming the writer himself. Iranian media have extensively commented on the attack, calling it divine retribution. Iran's state broadcaster, Daily Jam-e-Jam, highlighted the news that Rushdie might lose an eye following the attack, saying, "An eye of the Satan has been blinded." The distraught mother of the alleged Iranian sympathizer accused of trying to murder Salman Rushdie revealed how her once outgoing American-raised son took a month-long trip to the Middle East and came back a religious zealot. Silvana Fardos revealed her son returned a moody introvert and would lock himself in the basement, refusing to speak to his family for months. As FBI agents raided her Fairview, New Jersey home on Friday afternoon, it was the first she was learning of the frenzied stabbing of acclaimed author Rushdie. Fardos said FBI agents seized a number of items from her son's basement apartment, including a computer, PlayStation, books, knives, and a tool to sharpen blades. "I received a call from my daughter. I was at work and she told me the FBI are here. I was shell-shocked," Silvana said. Silvana, who is Lebanese and born Muslim, said she didn't know if her son had ever read Rushdie's book, but detected he had become more religious since his trip, adding that he would criticize her for not giving him a strict Muslim upbringing. "I just cannot believe he was capable of doing something like this. He was very quiet. Everyone loved him. As I said to the FBI, I'm not going to bother talking to him again. He's responsible for his actions. I have 2 other minors that I need to take care of. They are upset. They're shocked. All we can do is try to move on from this without him." See New York State Governor's message of defiance after the Rushdie attack in this video.
"A man with a knife cannot silence a man with a pen." The attacker found him in this place, a place of openness, a place where thoughts are shared regularly. So that's why he came here, attempted to do something. He failed. He failed. As we learn of the continued recovery of this individual who's been subjected to so much over his life. But I will tell you right now, as your governor, New York State will always stand up to protect freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and we condemn the cowardly attack on Salman Rushdie. And we condemn any individual or any group that dare violate the sanctity of a place like Chautauqua.
Police are investigating an online threat to JK Rowling after she tweeted support for Salman Rushdie following his attack in the US. The Harry Potter author shared screenshots of a message stating, "Don't worry, you are next." The same Twitter account also posted messages praising the man who attacked Mr. Rushdie on stage at an event in New York State. Ms. Rowling said she felt very sick at the news and hoped he would recover. She shared a screenshot of the threat, writing, "To all sending supportive messages, thank you. Police are involved." The tweet from an account in Pakistan had been removed by Sunday morning. A Police Scotland spokesperson said, "We have received a report of an online threat being made and officers are carrying out inquiries." A huge explosion has ripped through a crowded mosque in the Afghan capital, Kabul, killing 21 people, police say. Another 33 were injured. Kabul police spokesman Khalid Zadran said. Wednesday's blast occurred during evening prayers. The mosque's imam is reported to be among the dead. It is unclear who was behind the attack, just a week after Islamic State militants killed a pro-Taliban cleric in another suicide bomb blast, also in Kabul. Witnesses described hearing a powerful explosion which shattered windows in nearby buildings. I saw that so many people were killed, even people were thrown out of the windows of the mosque, one eyewitness said. The mosque was crowded, the bomb powerful, and another cleric seems to have been in the sights of Islamic State, the group which has emerged as the Taliban's most potent enemy. In the past month, 3 prominent religious leaders were targeted in Kabul, and there were assassinations in other cities. Last week, it was Sheikh Rahimullah Haqqani, known to be close to the Taliban. This time, it's Amir Muhammad Kabuli, said an adherent of the more moderate Sufi faith. That thanks to Lise Doucet, BBC Chief International Correspondent. A year after the militant group seized power, about 40 women marched through the Afghan capital demanding rights before the Taliban broke it up by firing shots into the air. The fighters seized their mobile phones, stopping one of the first women's protests in months. Since the Taliban takeover, women's rights have been severely restricted. The protesters chanted demands for bread, work, and freedom, carrying a banner reading, "August the 15th is a black day," a reference to the day the Taliban captured Kabul in 2021. They didn't beat us much this time, one of the protesters told the BBC. They acted differently from earlier protests when we were beaten. They fired shots in the air. See this video. Leeds University has expressed deep concern for one of its PhD students who has been jailed for 34 years in Saudi Arabia over critical tweets. Salma al-Shehab, a Saudi citizen and mother of 2, was arrested in 2021 while on holiday in the kingdom. Before the trip, she had called for reforms and the release of activists. Human rights groups said the harsh sentence gave the lie to Saudi claims that it was improving women's rights and showed that the situation was actually getting worse. They warned that it was the longest prison sentence ever for a peaceful activist in the Gulf state, where Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has overseen a crackdown on dissent for the last 5 years. 8 people have been wounded after a Palestinian gunman opened fire at 2 locations in Jerusalem. The assailant targeted a bus carrying Jewish worshippers who had just prayed at the Western Wall, as well as people in a car park near the holy site. 2 of the wounded are in serious condition, including a pregnant woman. The gunman, identified as a resident of occupied East Jerusalem, fled the scene, but later turned himself in. Israeli police said he had a criminal record, but no known affiliations with Palestinian militant groups. They believe that he acted alone, but are concerned that he might inspire copycat attacks. More than 40 people have been killed in a blaze that engulfed a Coptic church in Egypt's Giza on Sunday. Scores more were wounded, the health ministry said, with the number of casualties expected to rise. 2 security sources told Reuters that an electrical fire broke out as 5,000 worshippers gathered for Mass at the Abu Sifin Coptic church in the working-class neighborhood in Imbaba, leading to a stampede. US federal officials have begun an investigation into sexual abuse in the US largest Protestant denomination, the Southern Baptist Convention officials announced on Friday. Southern Baptist leaders pledged to cooperate with the investigation. The WCA organization is calling for churches to stop paying dues or apportionments to regional annual conferences it believes are making disaffiliation for churches difficult to impossible amid the United Methodist Church's slow-moving schism, largely over the ordination and marriage of LGBTQ members. These apportionments, determined by each annual conference, fund bishops' salaries and support the work of the mainline Protestant denomination around the world. I think as long as a church continues to send money to the people who are holding them captive and not allowing them to disaffiliate under fair terms, they're continuing to fund the misbehavior, and it's time to stop doing that, said the Reverend J. Therrell, president of the WCA. Australia's Anglican Church has split, and conservatives who oppose same-sex marriage have launched a breakaway movement led by former Sydney Archbishop Glenn Davies, aiming to lure Anglicans who are unhappy with progressive bishops. The Diocese of the Southern Cross was formally launched in Canberra on Sunday. The first service was held by a rebel minister who resigned from the liberal Brisbane Archdiocese because he cannot go along with same-sex blessings. Davies, who finished his term as Sydney Archbishop last year, said many Anglicans felt the Australian Church had strayed from the teachings of the Bible, particularly on same-sex marriage. I think you'll see the Diocese of the Southern Cross will have a significant impact, he said. It will send shivers down the spines of some bishops in the Anglican Church of Australia. This week's Free Thought Hour features philosopher Chet Anderson. He's a very bright cookie. You can join in by texting your comments and questions. It's live and it's free. Don't forget to watch Global Atheist News Review, our spin-off show where a panel of opinionated people get a chance to express their views on this very news. The GAN team will be back with our weekly news report next week. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and set the notifications. This has been Global Atheist News. Thank you for watching.